You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the former Chicago Bears NFL football player Eric Wright. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How's it going? Thanks for
Oh,
having me on your show.
you. I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in playing in professional football?
Uh, you know, Probably when I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old, growing up in Texas, watching the Dallas Cowboys, watching Drew Pearson, uh, Tony Hill, and all those guys, made me want to like, hey, I can do the same thing. So, and growing up a Cowboys fan, you always rooted for them. So those guys right there was, standing out, top-notch receivers back, when I was watching.
Of course,
So
being from Texas, what was that experience like going to Stephen F. Austin and playing collegiate football there?
yeah, for me, it was great. Coming from a small town and I have an opportunity to go to, I thought at the time was a major school to get an education, a college education. I took full advantage of it, and it was awesome. Going down there, first couple of years I got redshirted. Second year, I kind of got introduced to the game. I was still riding the bench, that which was my I guess my freshman year, because I got redshirted. So my sophomore year, I got a little bit of time, but it's that junior year is when we had a kind of a breakout season. And then we went all the way to the national championship in 1AA against Georgia Southern. I think we should have won that game, but we lost. I think it's 37-34. So that was an amazing experience.
What was that experience like getting to compete in a national championship like that?
Oh, you know what? It was great on all levels. You know, I know I wanted to play professional football and having the opportunity to be on ESPN, because it was televised back in, what, 88, 89. That was, ESPN was a thing. So, everybody back in Texas got to see us. We had an amazing time. It was a great experience for the whole team and for Stephen.
What was that experience like putting on that uniform for Stephen F. Austin and representing them?
You know what? Actually, it was great. Like I say, it was just a blessing to even get a nod to go down there. I kind of got overlooked, being from a small high school. But we had a former player that played at Pittsburgh. Uh, he went to Stephen F. He told the coaches about me, and the rest is history. Uh, I got to watch how the game was played. Some of the guys before me, they had opportunity to go to the NFL as well. Like Floyd Dixon went to the Falcons, played with Deion Sanders. I think Rison was a wide receiver at the time. So he came back and taught us some things that he learned in the NFL, and with that work ethic and seeing somebody like that made it from Stephen F. It made me work harder. Over the summer and them hot days. So it was a great experience because really my junior year, I think my sophomore year, we kind of went from nowhere to maybe in the top five. And then junior year, that's when we went all the way to the national championship. I think it was like number two in the nation, right behind Georgia Southern. And Georgia Southern back in the day, they was a powerhouse in 1AA football. So it was a really great experience for me.
Coming out of college, what was that process like training for the NFL and getting prepared for the NFL?
That's a great question. It's still a great question now for some of these younger guys. But back when I came out, we didn't have a lot of guys before me going, so it wasn't, anything really set up. I kind of worked in the off season with the football team, even though, my playing time was up. I was able to work out with them to stay in shape. I signed with an agent out of Dallas, so he had me working out with certain people, getting my training going with that and my endurance and everything. But being from a small school, I went to the combine. I got invited because I had a really pretty decent career in back in 1988, 89, 90 era. So, um, it was undrafted. I went undrafted. It was scary at the moment. And then I got a call from my agent. He said, "Hey, Cleveland Browns want to sign you." He's like, "I'll call you back in a couple of hours." Call me back, say, "Hey, you get on the plane this weekend, you're going to Chicago." And, I was like, "Hey, let's do it." And I had a great time up there. Mike Dicker, he liked the way I did things. So I stuck around as long as I could with him. And, when he got let go, that's when things got, changed a little bit. I played up in Canada and finished up playing arena football out in Orlando.
Of course, what was that process like for you going undrafted and not hearing your name call, and then after the draft, hearing your name going to Chicago?
Oh man, that's terrifying, because that's what I wanted to do since I was, 8, 19 years old. But I just kept the faith, and it went along after the draft. I think that same evening, because it was like 12 rounds back then. So I think that second or third day after the draft, that's when I started getting my agent started getting calls, and the same day I got signed. They wanted me to Chicago. Because back then, after the draft, pretty much that same weekend, people started having mini camps. So, within a few days, I was in Chicago.
For you, once you got to Chicago, what was that feeling like signing your first professional contract?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Dreams come true. We didn't make as much as they do now, but it was like, for me, it was awesome. And a team wanted me, and I got a chance to go into camp and compete. And back then, they still had everybody from the '85 Bears that won the Super Bowl. So it was just a great experience, humbling experience, meeting those guys, and being able to compete and make the team. We had a practice squad back then, and that was my way in. And I think I played a few games my first year. My second year, pretty much played the whole season, a lot of special teams. But that rookie year was it was a thing to remember. I think everybody, all the players that from even Aaron Rodgers all the way back to when I played Larry Centers, who came out of Stephen F. It was a great experience that first year. You're a rookie, you fresh out of college, and now you're making money. So it was very great.
Of course, being a rookie at that time, what was that like getting to see that 85 team of Chicago as a rookie?
Yeah. Oh man, that was a great question. I think it was another great experience, even though I had to go in, not be awestruck and compete for a place on a team, but it was good. I knew that I can go out there and compete, and in which I did. They had a couple of guys, Wendell Davis, first rounder, Dennis Gentry. He was from the '85 Bears. We had some good ones. Tom Waddle. He went on to have a great career as well. So and Curtis Conway. He was a number one draft pick in '92, I believe, out of USC. So it was very talented players back then, and I was just fortunate enough to make it a couple of years with them.
Of course, as a rookie, what was that like? Obviously, not getting starstruck over that 85 team and just coming in and showing what you can do.
Yeah, it's just being a football player. You want to be around those guys. You saw them. Now it's time to take business. I mean, take care of business. Because in the NFL, is you've known, you get cut that day. So it was getting people going to minicamp, and after 2 or 3 days, is they cutting down the roster to get ready to go to the real camp in July. So it was coming in and working. But I didn't want to go home that weekend. And they kept me around. They liked what they saw. We worked out. The rookies, we all stayed up there at that time in the dorm in Lake Forest, Hallis Hall. It was a college right across the street, so we stayed in a dormitory. But to work out, get in shape, learn the plays, so we can go into camp to have fun. But over the month, a couple of months before camp, when we was able to stay up there, the Bears had a lot of stuff set up for us. So we had to went to Cub games, saw the city, and it was just like, wow, thank you, God. And for those 2 months, the Bears showed us around, got us acclimated, and that way we got ready for camp, and you know, and had fun after that.
For you, what was that feeling like getting to put on that jersey for Chicago Bears and representing an NFL organization like Chicago?
Yes, I made it. My prayers have been answered. Exciting. I can't believe I'm out here. Uh, because I think one of my first games when I went to the Bears in preseason, I think we went to Germany. So it was like, man, that's what the NFL affords you playing, on that type of level. So I think London is the place that they're trying to do now. So, um, it's very good that some of those guys come out of college nowadays. It's, the game and everything has evolved.
What was that feeling like seeing your name on the back of that Chicago Bears uniform?
Yes, I was like, hey, I'm out here. I can't believe I'm in Chicago. One of the, one of the few teams that helped bring the NFL about. Started in the NFL. So playing for legendary and with legendary players. So even now, when I go back to Chicago, they got a list in Soldier Field of all the players that ever played. So when I take my family up there, I make sure we go around that part of the stadium and, hey, look at that. So it's real good.
For you, what was that feeling like traveling to Germany and getting to play in Germany?
Yeah, the whole process was awesome. They started it out in camp. Every week we got, people, that got sent home, they got cut. But we know we was the players that's gonna be there. They got us passport. It was the whole process. And I never been out of the country coming from, Stephen F. But it was a great process, to get the passport to go overseas, and to another country, for a week. And I think we played against the San Francisco 49ers, which at the time, they had one of the guys that I used to play with at Stephen F. So we got to hang out, not just in college, but in a professional environment in another country, and we getting paid for it. So it was good. It was good. It was a real good time, because you get to play against players that you've seen in college and growing up. But at the time, in high school, Jerry Rice was one of the best players. Still, of course, one of the best players. So playing against him, Barry Sanders. It was, these guys in the Hall of Fame. So it was good playing at that time against these guys.
What was that experience like getting to play against those players that are now currently in the Hall of Fame?
And like I said, it was humbling because, my goal was to make it to the Hall of Fame. So it's very inspiring to see and have played against some of those guys, Eric Dickerson and all those guys that had that extra talent, more so that can change the game, that's deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. So I think Devin Hester which I didn't play with, but Steve McMichael, Mungo, I think they might have is on the ballot to get inducted to the Hall of Fame. So, it's just I played with Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, Hall of Famers. It's it's great because you don't get a lot of players that even make it to the NFL, let alone play with in a historic team and Hall of Famers. So even though I didn't make it there myself and I wanted to, the next big thing is playing alongside them and friends with them today.
Of course, how has it been like getting to play in the legendary Soldier Field?
Yeah, it's good. I still like going back to Soldier Field. Um, I didn't realize how cold it really was. You see the guys on TV with the sleeves off or whatever, and I tried it one game. So I never did it twice. But that wind swirling around and the coldest, but it was great. It was great, and I think my rookie year we made it to a playoff. So I think we had a good winning season at home. So it was real good that first rookie season being a part of that success.
What does a typical game day look like for you during that time?
Yeah, if we have a home game, of course, we stay at the hotel downtown. I think it was the Hilton. They changed it up now. We stay, have to be down there at a certain time. We come down there, have meetings, eat dinner, fellowship with the team, and then, for the next 2 or 3 hours. 'Cause I think we have a curfew. We might hang out with the family or just go out and maybe have dinner with some of the teammates, their families, and just relax, getting ready for the next day. Uh, like I say, curfew lights out 12, so we can wake up. Some people go to mass, and then, we'll have breakfast, catch the bus over to the game and start pregame you know,
Wh-
get taped up in the locker room. Uh, these are the things besides the money that a lot of the players miss about, the NFL once they retire.
What were some of your favorite memories and moments as a Chicago Bear?
Oh, just being able to get that phone call and and being able to extend my career after college and having that come true as a child. So and then being in that environment in mini camps, making it to the next round, going to training camp, and then I got cut, but they brought me right back, practice squad. I was able to work out every day and get paid for it, and it was awesome. So I think that being around the guys, uh, and you're getting a weekly paycheck. I call it Wonderful Wednesday. Because that's when we got paid. It was awesome, for me.
As a NFL player, what was it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
Yeah, it was great. As it is like now. Sometime in high school, you have that. So, I kind of got used to it all the way from high school to college. Going to the pro. So, but at the pro, it was different. It's just a different level. So, um, seeing little kids at camp wanting my autograph, and adults, collection guys that have a collection wanting your autograph. It was truly amazing.
What
As
was
I
it
say,
like getting to see them wearing your jersey?
yeah, it was good. I was like, hey, that's a good choice. It's definitely motivating, to be out there in pregame and seeing somebody, have your jersey on, looking up in the stand. So you want to play extra hard. You want to, stay around. You like that. And thank you for supporting me. So
Of, of course, what are some of the things that have changed from when you played football to now?
the biggest thing is the total compensation that these guys make. You know, um, our payroll salary cap may have been, 20 or 30 million. This guy's making that a year now. And I think that's one of the biggest things. The other thing is the type of facilities that these guys have, the training that's involved, and because the game has evolved. Um, the time spent in the meeting room. So these guys, they earn their bucks.
What does it mean to you to be an NFL football player?
It means that you're special in a special group of people because since football started, NFL started. I think it's may have been like less than maybe 50,000 guys have played 1 year or more. So that's definitely an elite group. I say compared to everything else. So it was it's still good. We have that, like I say, Chicago Bears, they take care of you. Even today we still have golf outings, so we get to see each other. As guys retire from the league, some of these guys play two or three different teams, but they might have spent a lot of years in Chicago. It's good to have these guys back, and hang out and just see each other faces.
Of course, for you, what was that retirement process like, and was the transition like from going from playing football to life after football?
You know, it was for me, it was like all the guys, it was an eye opener, and that was it. So you got to keep moving on. It's like an adjustment for a little while, but I think the shorter time you play, the more you are ready for the transition. The longer you play, you may not be ready for that transition because playing in the NFL is kind of quote unquote not reality because you don't make that kind of money nowhere. No,
Of course, for you, after retirement,
nowadays it's different products out there. It's I just say playing in the NFL is just not reality because there's so few guys have ever played that game. So,
After retiring, what was it like getting involved in football and working with the Dallas Cowboys and their
uh,
football organization?
that's a good question. When I retired, I think I moved around a little bit, maybe down to Orlando, whatever. But then I eventually, maybe a few years after that, landed back in Chicago, got married, and I was doing the camps, youth football camps with the Chicago Bears. So that was a good experience to be involved and still involved, and getting paid for it, of course, and teaching young guys the techniques and the drills, So that was a good experience. My wife and I, a few years ago, we moved back down home to in the Dallas area. So I still wanted to be involved. So got involved with the Dallas Cowboys youth football and, in Jerry World out there. So that's a great experience too. These huge camps that the Cowboys always have. So I'm talking about 300 guys. I mean, young guys every day.
How's it been like, obviously, being involved with the Dallas Cowboys youth organization?
It's been good. There's former players out there from different teams, and also you got guys that used to play with the Cowboys. So it's good to, still have that fellowship with those guys. And also, you get to do something you like uh, and get paid for it. And the young guys are, learning. That's one thing about the Cowboys. You can have professional former players out there teaching you the right techniques, and that's kind of important nowadays because the game has changed a little bit. The way they tackle, the way they hit. So, the NFL, I think they may still have USA football where they teach them kind of the techniques as you go to the next level. So that's kind of what we still do too.
What advice would you give those people in college playing collegiate football, looking to play college football and then go on to the NFL?
I would say if you're coming out of high school, or if you're in high school looking to play in the NFL, I would say have it in your heart and mind uh, to go to college, period. You can play football or not. And if you do happen to get a scholarship and play, work your butt off and get your degree. Hopefully, you can go over the summertime so you can leave college with a master's degree because that's available now. Because get that education because even if you go to the NFL and hopefully you will and make 20, $30 million and retire with that type of money or with that degree, it's going to land you another job or you can start your own job. Um, and that's important. Have the education and that way you have options once you retire. Because most of these guys think 35 or 32 is old. No, it's old because you're around 23-year-olds, so you got a lot of living to do. So you want to make sure that their education go along with the type of money that they're paying nowadays.
What advice would you give those rookies entering their first year of the professional NFL football?
Um, let's see here. My advice would be to save your money. Um, and if you happen to make the team, I would still get me an apartment for a couple of years because it's all about uh, the next level of your life. Every year that you play, you're able to, put money away and make money through endorsements and everything else. So I would say, save for retirement and, invest wisely. Wait a couple of years, saving all that money, gaining interest, and with the interest, pay for what you want, and you still have that capital. Just like Marcel Lynch, this guy make good money and save most of it and lived off endorsements. So it's all about a hustle, you know. That's what the NFL is.
What advice would you give those NFL players transitioning from playing football to life after football and retiring?
That's a good question because if you played in the NFL, they take care of you too. And the longer you play, the better benefits you have. I would say know your benefits from day one and get involved in some kind of NFL program to where you can stay around and you can actually leave the game and go work at the NFL or with the club. So that's what my advice would be. That way you have options. Because the NFL, they got a lot of options for current guys looking to invest. They'll take them down a slow route, and that way when they leave the game, they'll be prepared.
That's
And
great.
yeah, they'll be prepared.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I'm not on social media a lot. I'm on LinkedIn, but you can find me at millions.com. Well, I think it's millions.co, millions.co, millions.co. And you can search for Eric Wright once you get to that millions page. And this is my uh, logo for I guess my clothing line. But I teach my guys at camps, because you got to stay laser focused out there. It's all about a mental. So they can find me on here. Just my clothing line. And that's where you can find me on social media if you go to linkedin.com and search for Eric Wright. And millions.co, Eric Wright. And buy my t-shirts and support the cause.
Thank you again, Eric Wright, for your interview, and best luck in your future wherever it may hold you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brandon, and God bless and good luck to you as well.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Eric Wright, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you. Remember, go Bears.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.